kept in. Corcoran with the shot, and it's in.
He may get him on the inside. Willie got him. Willie, yes!
Under the lights and in the cold of Ewing, New Jersey, we have come to Trenton State College for the championship game in boys Group 2 soccer between the Blue Tide of Harrison and the Gators of Gateway. And hello everyone, I'm Paul Spychala. Working with me this cold evening, John Marcy. And John, once again, we will see the Blue Tide of Harrison. We say that because last year we televised them in the Group 2 championship game against Cinnaminson. No one scored all night, and the Blue Tide went home as co-champions.
A dynamite team. I've had the pleasure, and I say it's a real pleasure, of officiating 4 of their games this year. Outstanding, very quick team. They like to keep the ball on the floor. They move it around real quick. I look for a real exciting ball game.
We're not real familiar, of course, with the Gateway Gators, the South Jersey champions. However, their head coach, Joe Hennifer, says they're a long ball type of team.
Well, if we compared it to boxing, it's the boxer and the puncher today. The boxer is Harrison, and the puncher is the Gators. The Gators like the long ball. They're big, and they feel that they can muscle their way through.
And they've got a couple of outstanding strikers up front. Chris Humes, a junior, and Tom Lyons, a senior.
Tom's a great ball player. He's got 23 goals this year, and Joe Hennifer says 3 guys take him on, and he's going to get past them. He's just a big guy. He likes to keep it on the floor, and he can put it in the net.
A senior-dominated Gateway team. 8 of the 11 starters will be seniors. On the other side of the coin for the Blue Tide, they were young last year. They're a little bit more matured this year, but still a very young side for Tom Carney.
They're a real young side. They've only got 3 seniors starting, a bunch of juniors, and a bunch of sophomores. So, and they're real experienced. They're a defending Group 2 co-champion. So, I look to see this being a great ball game.
And one of those seniors that we're going to talk about right now had 13 goals last year, and he's doing even a little bit better this year, and that's Willie Chapoco.
Well, Willie's got 16 goals. He's got 9 assists. And like the rest of this Harrison team, they keep the ball on the ground. They're not big on scoring, although they did have a couple of games where they really put it in the net. They're a very technical team, which is typical of Tom Carney's clubs. Harrison, many call the birthplace of soccer in our state. I happen to agree, being from that North Jersey area. I hate to be put on the spot to make a pick, but I'd have to go with the Blue Tide this year.
And we're going to get ready to start things off. It's the Group 2 Championship coming up on TV3. And welcome back, everyone. We are underway at Lions Field on the campus of Trenton State College.
And we are high up here. That's why you hear a little bit of hard breathing.
We're in good shape.
Yeah, I think.
A sports announcer and a policeman, I think we're in pretty good shape.
Well, the Blue Tide wearing the white uniforms, they'll be going from left to right. And the Gators with the blue jerseys be going right to left.
In just a moment, we'll meet the starters, first of all, for the Gators of Gateway. Again, Gateway in the blue, Harrison in the white. It is Gateway that is on the offensive right now, traveling to our left. Trying to look for Humes, fielded by Mello. The starters for the Gators this evening up front, they have Tom Lyons and Chris Humes. In the midfield, Mike Ledrich, Tim Rambo, Joey Yerix, and Mike O'Connor. And defensively, Justin Kenyon, the brothers Dave and Mike Kane, and the sweeper, DJ Abate. And wearing the red for the Gators this evening in the goal, Steve Coons. Steve, a senior with 12 shutouts. Next out of play ball, we'll meet the starters from Harrison. And there we have a chance. Let's meet the Blue Tide of Harrison, 20-3 this year. Chapoco, Hurtado, and Chung up front. In the midfield, Halpern, Chung, and Lucas. Defensively, DeBarros, Carabal, Perales, and Indigoyen. Put in play by Marco Chung from the corner.
Harrison on the restarts on the corner kicks works off a lot of set plays. You'll see Tom Carney's kids on every corner kick today come up with a different formation.
Ball crossed in front, headed away by the Gateway defense. Gateway comes in at 19-3. The Blue Tide are 20-3.
For you viewers in the North Jersey area, the 3 losses of Harrison this year to Scotch Plains, Columbia and Kearney.
Scotch Plains and Columbia are in state finals. They'll be playing tomorrow here at Trenton State College. Kearney was a sectional finalist in North Jersey, Section 1, Group 4. Played towards the left wing for Willie Chipoko. Chipoko in deep. He'll cross with his left foot. Hurtado almost got a head on it. Ball free in the box, cleared away by the Gateway defense.
And again, Harrison's so quick, and they distribute the ball so nicely. They create open spaces. Typical Tom Kearney team. They move very quickly. A lot of short passes, and not a terribly high-scoring team most often, but with their technical play, they and a 20-3 record, it's obvious they're doing something right.
And John, also not a very big physically team, but they are quick and they are talented.
Well, Joe Hennifer said as he saw them coming on the field today, I was talking to him before the game, he says, they don't look very big, but I'll bet you they're fast as a cat.
Joe Hennifer is the head coach of the Gateway Gators. Tom Kearney is the head coach of the Blue Tide of Harrison.
And you see a trip call on that be a direct kick for the Gators. In fact, that call made by one of our two officials today from the Central Jersey chapter, Tony Montervino, and Mike Luciano on the far side of the field.
Ball knocked away, and I believe a handball called against Dave Kane. Kane, a senior. First team Colonial Conference. Gateway is from the Colonial Conference. Harrison from the Bergen County Scholastic League. Ball kept alive in midfield by Gateway. Back to O'Connor. We are playing on the AstroTurf here at Lions Field. I don't know if that's an omen for Tom Lyons from Gateway. And I believe a handball called against Chipoko.
Or does it have anything to do with our color analyst in basketball, Eddie Lyons?
The coach. Almost, it's basketball-like weather out there. A very cold day. It was mild and comfortable through the afternoon. Then in late afternoon, the temperature took a nosedive here at Trenton State. And we actually had some snow flurries.
Yeah, we did. And, of course, that's one of the reasons they've been playing on the AstroTurf here over the last several years. Weather this time of the year in New Jersey, very unpredictable. This field, very big, plays 120 by 75 yards, the ideal width for a soccer field.
You can see some of the players are wearing gloves. Most are wearing long sleeves or turtlenecks. Hurtado for the ball, gives it to Roberto Chung. Roberto is the older brother of number 9, Marco Chung. Long ball played away by Mike Kane to the far side of the field. The teams are separated on this field. Harrison on the far side and Gateway on the near side.
Don't let those empty stands be misleading. We are on the larger side of the field where Gateway appears to have brought almost their entire student body.
Lyons takes it in deep, and a goal kick won by the Blue Tide.
And the Gator fans not liking the call, but it was definitely a goal kick. We mentioned the only 3 losses that the Blue Tide had. The Gators' only 3 losses came 2 of them to Haddonfield by a score of 3-0 and 2-0, and to Sterling. And Haddonfield will be in the second game tonight.
That's right. They are playing against Pompton Lakes in the Group 1 state championship, which will immediately follow this game. Played down the far wing. Chipoko goes after it. He is marked closely by Kenyon. Chipoko plays the ball back. Crossed in front, headed away by O'Connor momentarily. Roberto Chung. 50-50 ball. Bodies go down. Push called against Harrison. Lions hit the turf.
And I have to think, I have to think that the technical type play and the short passing of Harrison has to be their advantage on a large field like this, because they can spread the game out a lot more.
Jumping in foul called against Gateway. And interestingly enough, John, Gateway will not be finished with their season tonight. They actually have 1 regular season game left tomorrow against Woodbury.
Well, there's a good many teams, and
West Deptford.
We were talking the other day about when does soccer have to end, and I'm not really sure on that. We'll have to research that one. But
Lions in close, however, the ball nicely guarded, and Pedro Mello comes out. Mello, a junior, 15 shutouts last year, 15 shutouts again in 1992. Was only called upon to make 3 saves in the state semifinal game against Milburn.
yeah, and I'm watching Lions. It almost looks like he's being marked man-to-man by number 5, Henry Perales, because every time Lions comes down, there's Perales right on the doorstep with him.
Ball cleared away by Halpern towards midfield. O'Connor wins the ball for Gateway. Now they decide to direct it to the far wing. Tim Rambo, number 9. Rambo plays it up ahead for Mike Ledrich. However, Ledrich on the big hop has the ball taken away by the Blue Tide. Interesting comment that Joe Hennifer gave me during the week. Said that it's an interesting turf. Tom Carney mentioned this, that it's not really the bounce of the ball that throws you off, because the ball, of course, will take good natural hops, but because it will bounce so high as opposed to a grass field, he said that slowed down our timing last year. Again, last year Harrison was in the Group 2 final against Cinnamonson. He said that just slowed down our timing, just that little beat that got everyone off track.
But they've had a little bit of an advantage this year as opposed to last year. They had a chance to work out at Hoboken, who has an AstroTurf field outdoors, and of course they have the advantage of having played on it last year. Their home field is a grass field, and it's a multi-purpose field where the football team plays too. You tend to let the grass grow a little longer on a field like that to try to keep the greenery going, and it does slow up the bounce a little bit, but I think a team with this talent will adjust very quickly.
Hurtado deep side. By the way, Gateway made a substitution. Cooper is in, Ledrich is out for the Gators. They come from Woodbury Heights. That is the town where Gateway High is located. Gateway, a regional school. Long ball has to be played out of the air by Steve Coons.
It looked to be on net, but Steve Coons right there making a relatively easy save.
Very little wind to speak of this evening in Ewing. It is the cold that will bother the players, if at all.
I don't think it's going to bother them at all. You're in a state final, and Joe again Hennifer said, look, we're just happy to be here. And, he's having a good time out there. He's enjoying it. This is the gravy at the end of the season. You might as well enjoy it.
Again, it is Chipoko using the whole width of the field. He takes the ball in deep, knocks it off of Kenyon.
I believe it came back and caught him.
It came back and it hit Chipoko. So it will be a throw-in for the Gators. As we mentioned, Gateway is from the Colonial Conference, and they have one more game remaining. Tomorrow they will go to West Deptford to play a conference game. Colonial Conference rules, you've got to finish them all. In the box.
Well, this is
finally cleared by the Gators.
This is what Harrison can't do. Physically, the Gators are a bigger team, and Harrison's going to have to keep the ball down close to the floor. They want to keep the ball moving. They want to keep it out of the air, because so far we've seen that almost every ball that was challenged in the air was taken by the Gators. They are definitely the physically bigger team. When you keep it on the ground, I think Harrison has a much better chance, as you saw right there.
Crossed by Marco Chung, headed away by the Gateway defense. So again, a good example of the fact Gateway a little bit taller. This is Rambo, number 9. Plays the ball up ahead, trying to get it to Humes. However, knocked away by the Harrison defense. Harrison, for the 14th time, won their conference, the Bergen County Scholastic League. Last year, Harrison finished 18-4-2. Of course, that second tie, co-championship in Group 2.
There again, you can see the ball control skills of Harrison. Outstanding footwork by Marco Chung.
Played by Mike Lucas to the left wing.
Great lane there. Great lane he created.
Chipoko, left foot. Cleared towards midfield. This is Humes.
Nice move by Humes. Taken down on the play.
Humes tripped on the play. So on the restart, the Gators will get it going. Long ball played into the box, and Pello will come up with it.
This AstroTurf, as opposed to some of them we've seen, is a lot shorter. It's a good AstroTurf, probably the best I have seen. You get a very true bounce with the ball, and as long as it stays dry like it is right now, we had minor snow flurries early on, but weather I don't think will be a factor other than the cold you mentioned earlier.
As we have often seen here at Trenton State, and no evidence of it so far, but you get the dew that, of course, will settle in the early evening, and then if it is cold, and certainly tonight it is cold enough, you sometimes get a slight glaze on the turf.
We had the one year, and I mentioned it, where we'd had rain the day before. We're going to have a great restart here, and I'll finish that thought in a minute as we watch this restart from the Blue Tide.
They're 35 yards away and well left of the goal. Long ball played into the box, and an opportunity for Marco Chung, but he just couldn't get a foot on the high, waist-high ball.
And I believe you're going to have a corner kick call by Mike Luciano on that one. Here it comes. You'll see on the replay the ball comes through. It's played again. It was headed by one of the Gators, and it was not touched. We take a short corner for the restart, trying to get a better angle, but nobody there, and the Gators bring the ball out.
Lions goes down, play on.
That was a good no call because he went down for going over the player rather than being tripped by him.
Again, it's O'Connor with a little bit of operating room. Sends it to the far side. This is how Gateway got here. They are the South Jersey champions. They defeated Moorestown, Buna, and Cinnamonson before defeating Delran in the South Sectional Final 3-2. And then they defeated the Central Jersey champions Lawrence in the state semifinal in a game that was played at Burlington County College in Pemberton. That was a 1-0 score against Lawrence. And that was a bit of a revenge game. This is Gateway's first appearance in the state championship in soccer. Their only other opportunity was back in 1976. They won the South title, but they were knocked out of the state semis by Lawrence.
And just an interesting thing that Joe Hennifer mentioned before, in all their boys' sports, this is only the third time they've ever been to a state final. And naturally, I think they want to make the best of it. As we look down right in front of us from this wonderful facility here, it looks like we have a good deal of the student body came up to try to get that state championship down there in Woodbury. And for those of you not familiar, Woodbury Heights, look on your maps, due south of Camden, about 15 miles.
It took the Gateway contingent roughly an hour and a half to get here today. Probably Harrison a little closer to 2 hours. Ball played into the box.
Distance being relatively equal, but Harrison coming from a much more congested area and dealing with the traffic. Harrison doing what they do so well, those short passes inside.
Rambo looking for Lyons. Lyons plays up to Rambo. Nice move by Rambo. He's got some room to operate. He'll try to send it up ahead looking for Humes. Defensed away by the Harrison team.
And there again, you see Harrison losing on the high ball. When that ball is up in the air, they're being outmanned.
This is how Harrison reached our championship game tonight. In the Group 2 final, they defeated Inglewood in the opening round, Wallkill Valley 2-1. In the North Jersey Section 1 Group 2 final, they defeated Mawa 3-2. And then on Monday, they had to defeat Millburn in the state semifinal. Millburn, the Section 2 Group 2 champion. And interestingly enough, last year, in order to reach the Group 2 championship, the Blue Tide had to defeat Millburn, and they beat them by the very same 2-0 score.
Although they never meet in regular season, the two schools have a long history of competition with each other when it comes down to state play.
So our congratulations to Pete Snyder and the Millburn Millers for a very good season. Ended in a sectional championship and an appearance in the state semis. All right, Dave Kane left foots the ball near his bench. Nice head ball won by Cooper. Lyons tries to play it back to Cooper, back to Lyons. A little give and go in front of the Gateway bench. Push against Humes.
And you see the ball being put down for the restart. There was a push there. And again, Harrison taking a relatively long restart. Usually it's a short pass that far back for the Blue Tide. Well, here's where Harrison is dangerous. Don't give them the ball in the middle. There was a push behind the play. I think you're going to have a direct kick from about 25 yards out.
The goal, the soccer goal, is right on the football end of the goal line.
So this plays a full 120 by 75, the ideal length.
So with the ball now placed at the 20, it's actually 30 yards away from the goal. And that is where it looks like Chapoko is going to be setting up.
Well, again, these restarts of Harrison's, they play a lot of different things.
Oh, and Chapoko with the high shot that just sails wide. A very nice play. Roberto Chung started the restart. but then the ball was settled, almost as if you had a holder in a football attempt for a field goal. And you'll see it on the replay.
You'll see on the replay here. What they do basically is they try to fake the defense, get the wall to break down, create a better angle for the shot. And you see the ball here just going high and wide. And of course, for Kunz, that creates a problem too, because that ball's coming out of the wall. He has less chance to react because that wall is about 10 yards off the ball. So
up to Humes. He runs onto it.
Gets through one, but it's difficult to get. He gets pushed from behind by Humes.
Now, Joe Hennifer said he's a long ball type team, as we saw. And there is Joe Hennifer, by the way, with the Gateway soccer jacket on and the cap. Joe in his 8th year at Gateway, and he reached a milestone this year. Earlier in the season, he had his 100th coaching victory. He now has 110.
For being in his first state final, looks kind of relaxed out there.
Yeah, he was. You and I both had a chance to talk to him before the game. They must have gotten here, right about 5 o'clock, maybe about 10 minutes before Harrison got here. So we were talking with Joe and some of his coaches, very relaxed, and as you mentioned earlier, very happy that his team is here playing in this game. He said it's a great experience for the kids. They were having a fun time just warming up on the field.
Well, and very personable guy, very, very easy to get along with the guy. He enjoys the game, and I have a hunch he's the type of guy I'd like to be an educator for my son.
Throw in for the Blue Tide. O'Connor stops the cross. Headed away by Jesus Carabal. Ball won by Tom Lyons. Lyons tied for 9th leading scorer in South Jersey with his 23 goals.
You're going to have an obstruction call or a push, even though it looks as if the Gator player really pushed. There might have been an obstruction on that play. You'll have the Gators with a restart from, somewhere about 35 yards out.
And that's where number 44, Mike O'Connor, a senior, will place the ball down.
And of course, it'll be a little further than that with the angle to the left for Melo.
Cleared away by the Harrison defense. Of course, the leading scorer in South Jersey and in the state of New Jersey was Matt Miles of St. Augustine, who finished this year with 65 goals, 2 short of the state record set by Glenn Carbonaro. 65 goals in roughly 25 games, so he averaged well over 2 goals a game, more like 2.5 a game.
I was just going to say, we're talking closer to 3 than to 2. That's quite a...
Ball rolls through, a little bit of a dangerous play.
Yeah, well, I think...
And a trip is going to be called on the Gateway player.
The Gateway player saying, hey, he was obstructing me, and that's why I went for it the way I did. The Gateway player we're talking about being Tom Lyons. We keyed on Tom in our open, so he's going to be aggressive up front there. You don't end up with as many goals, 23 goals, unless you get a little aggressive.
Yeah,
up
so
front.
far he has been. He's been all over the field, as has his running mate, Chris Humes. Again, Lyons a senior, Humes a junior, and they've combined this year for 41 goals.
That's a pretty good 1-2 punch for your two up front strikers.
41 goals in 22 games, so that is a nice scoring combination for Joe Hennifer. Of course, he'll lose Lyons, and along with him, 7 other starting seniors.
So this is sort of an all or nothing type.
Well, sometimes you think that way. Now, Tom Carney, on the other hand, and there he is, the head coach of the Blue Tide in his 11th year at Harrison, 185 victories and 3 ties. Sometimes you think, well, this is our year. We've got a lot of seniors will never be back, and you're back the next year, and vice versa. Sometimes you're here with a young team, and you say, wow, we might be back here 2-3 years in a row, and the way things fall, you never get back here. So it's obviously tough to judge.
That is true.
Especially in a sport like soccer, where the breaks sometimes determine games, especially on the road to the state tournament.
Nice
of
move.
course, ability counts a lot as Chapoko brings it. That's Chung. But sometimes the breaks sometimes determine winners as the teams are more evenly matched.
Yep.
As opposed to something like basketball, where if you've got a great scorer, rebounder, and of course there's only 5 players on the court, you can be assured of a good season.
Well, we talked about that in our county final with Columbia and Benedict's, how evenly matched these teams were, and a team wins with just a break. We've talked about And Gene Chisowicz has told us several times.
And finally a whistle. We had a lot of action there.
And both referees called it the same way against Lyons. That he wasn't playing the ball, that he was playing the man, even though he appeared to trip over the man going down. But both referees were adamant of their call. So, I mean, when they're both that way, they may see it differently than everybody else. But I'd have to say they were right. Me defend the referee?
I think once in a while you've been on the side of the men in the black and white. As the reigning SCOA Man of the Year, you should. Ball deep in the box. And the call is going to be Harrison Ball. And that's right, you will be giving up your reign as SCOA Man of the Year fairly soon at the annual banquet.
The annual banquet, December 7th. One of the finer officials' banquets they're held. You've been in attendance several times, Paul.
That's true.
Very nice time at Biazzi's in Newark.
Throw in for the Blue Tide again. Harrison in the white if you're just joining us. Gateway in the blue. Both teams have blue and white as their school colors. You're watching two Group 2 schools, which are, of course, the second smallest in the New Jersey classification of public schools.
But don't let the size of schools throw you.
Chung crosses it, and he had the ball right on goal, and Coons had to come up with the save.
Yeah, Coons came up with the save, and I'm wondering if there isn't a little bit of a breeze out there, because I'm looking at the football goalposts at both ends of the field, and they seem to be shaking, but yet the flags are perfectly still. I don't know if there's a wind up in the air. We can't tell because we're in a beautiful, beautiful press booth up here, and we have no concept of what the weather is like outside.
You mean it's not 85 degrees and sunny?
It isn't here.
Lyons takes the ball in. Excuse me, that's Lyons is in front. That is Yerrick's, Chris Yerrick's.
Yerrick's did a nice job. He got past two players, and he forced the throw in for the Gators, as the Gators are going to substitute.
Humes is back in. Chris Yerrick's comes out. Yerrick's a freshman who had a huge goal in the state tournament.
Nice centering pass.
In front, goal. Tom Lyons. The ball on the cross found his foot, and Lyons drilled it in. It hit the post, I believe, or it just went in just beyond the post. But it is in for Lyons. It is a 1-0 Gateway lead. Here's a look at it.
You'll see on this, I called it. It was a fine centering pass. You see, the ball comes down. The shot is taken right there. First time. I believe Milo was screamed coming out of that crowd because he didn't react until that ball was just about in the net.
So the goal at 24-36.
And Tom Lyons with his 24th goal of the season.
So Gateway with the 1-0 lead.
Great restart. Harrison not having been down too many times this year, although one of the games I officiated this year against when they were playing Lyndhurst. Lyndhurst went up on them, and that kind of woke them up. Let's see what it does to them in a championship game. And up until that point, neither team had really had any great opportunities, real close shots on goal.
And it was still a bit hard to tell from the replay whether the ball did just clip the inside of the post or whether it cleared the post and by hitting the netting just went in. I doubt the Gateway people are going to quarrel as to whether it hit post or not, and regardless, either way it was going in. It hit the inside of the post.
Yeah, it did hit the inside of the post, and of course at that point the ball has to be completely across the line, and it's really moot at this point. It's 1-0, and that's what really counts.
Doesn't matter how many posts it hit, it went in for the Gators, and they have a 1-0 lead. With about 14 minutes left to play in the first half.
And Harrison doing what they do best is keeping the ball on the ground. And what do the Gators do? They put the ball in the air, and what happened on that? There was a restart that came high in the air, came down to Lyons. Lyons one-timed it, and he caught the corner. And whether it caught the piece of the the corner or not, that was the perfect spot to take place because Melo never had a chance to get to the ball.
Yeah, Lyons made a great grab right out of the air, one time right on his foot, and he drilled it to the left of Pedro Melo. Indigoyen for Harrison. We'll try to get things started from midfield. He goes to Roberto Chung. Chung trying to play it up ahead. It will be cleared away by DJ Abate. High ball into the lights. And out of play. The Philadelphia Inquirer ranks South Jersey teams. This is their list of the top 8 in their poll. Shawnee, playing for the Group 4 championship, is number 1. St. Augustine, parochial champions, number 4. Haddonfield, number 3. They'll be playing for the Group 1 title. And then you come down to number 8, Gateway. So in South Jersey, and the Philadelphia Inquirer covers South Jersey high school sports well, Gateway is ranked number 8 in boys soccer.
It's going to be interesting as this game goes along if we stay this close with a lot of midfield play and no really close opportunities other than the one where the ball was put in, to see how Harrison can stay with this physically bigger team. Harrison, not a team that's known to do a lot of substitutions. They'll do 1 or 2 here or there to break their play up, but let's see if they get worn down and then that Gateway starts to dominate later on.
Abate will take the goal kick for the Gators. And again, you mentioned their Harrison's 3 losses. Kearney, Columbia, Scotch Plains. Tom Kearney says, great games for us. He said, almost as much as anything, those 3 games, those 3 losses are responsible for us being here. Well, here comes Humes. Marked off the ball well by Carabal. Ball back to Joe Yerix. Yerix, step on his man.
He's getting no help. Now he gets the help down there, and he gets the ball loose a little bit, gets the cross, but it goes outside a little bit.
Good head towards goal. Headed back in by Yerix. And finally cleared away by the Harrison defense. Nice passing for the Gators in tight.
It's very, very interesting. Abate all the way back. When I say all the way back, he had to be 25 yards short of midfield as a sweeper. It's not something you normally see. Normally you'll see them come all the way up. I guess it's just that little extra bit of defense, but Abate playing way, way back.
Deep in the corner, it's out of play, and we will get a corner kick. So it will be a corner kick coming up for the Gators.
And if the Gators, they're very dangerous because we've seen how they can dominate when they put the ball up in the air. And so far, they've been able to win just about every high ball.
This is Dan Cooper. Cooper with the corner, and Mello comes out high for the save. With 10:30 left in the first half.
The scoreboard clock is official here at Lyon Field. We say it every year, but it is a beautiful facility, Paul.
Great facility here at Trenton State College in Ewing. And of course, we extend our thanks, as we always do, to Frank Harris, who is the site manager here at Trenton. We are on the newer press box. Nice play by Coons at the corner. The newer press box on the opposite side of the field from where we usually set up, which gives us a higher view. And as we mentioned earlier, a warmer view. But we do have a much higher view of the game this year.
Already, Harrison's been taking out a little bit of their normal style of play. Harrison has played the ball successfully all game long up the wings and been able to cross it to the middle. But every time they cross it to the middle, either Kunz there, as he is there, to make the save, or one of the defenders able to pick the ball out of the air.
Coons gets the play started quickly, rolls the ball out for Yerix. And the ball taken away by Roberto Chung. But Chung sends it in, no one there. Abate heads it away.
This is not a Harrison style of play. And I'm just wondering if they are being forced out of their norm at this point.
Well, in the next 9 minutes, they'll get a break. 9 minutes to go in the first half. I'm Paul Spychala, with me, John Marcy. It is Gateway 1, Harrison nothing. Handball along the far side. Well, we showed you the Philadelphia Inquirer top 8 a moment ago. This is the TV3 poll. You can see that Scotch Plains, the Group 3 finalist, is number 1. Columbia, the Group 4 finalist, is number 2. And currently, Harrison sits at number 3. Westfield 4, New Prague 5. That's the way our TV3 poll looks at this moment, of course, prior to tomorrow's big games, when Scotch Plains will play for the Group 3 title and Columbia the Group 4 title. Substitution for Gateway brings Rambo back.
Columbia, who is rated number 1 in the TV3 poll right now, will be playing the Philadelphia Inquirer's number 1 team, Shawnee.
No, Columbia's 2.
Number 2, I'm
Columbia
sorry.
2.
I'm sorry, Scotch Plains. Our number 2 team will be playing the Philadelphia Inquirer's number 1 team, Shawnee.
Long ball, wide. And for those who might remember, just a few years ago, Columbia was number 1 in New Jersey and number 1 in the USA Today national poll. Came in against Shawnee, and Shawnee knocked them off 1-0 to take the Star Ledger Trophy and also take away the USA Today Trophy from the Columbia Cougars. So I'm sure, although it's not necessary for Gene Chisowitz to tell his boys that, I'm sure many of them remember that game.
And I'm sure Gene, for those the word here, I'm sure Gene did tell them too.
So it will be a throw-in for the Gators. By the way, Gateway from Gloucester County. You're getting your annual New Jersey geography lesson here from TV3. Of course, for our TV3 area viewers, most should know that Harrison is in Hudson County, just across the Passaic River from Newark. Paul DeBarros.
Right across the Clay Street Bridge.
Played Kennedy Stadium.
On the
was
banks.
dedicated in 1951, celebrated its 42nd year of use this year.
And that has hosted some really big soccer games over the years. State games, college games, semi-professional, professional. It's been a mecca for soccer.
And of course, just the annual showdown between Harrison and Kearney, a huge game.
Little push there from the Harrison player.
Gateway restarts, 6:20 left in the game.
The first half.
That's right.
Please, got Tom Kearney nervous on that one. A very fast-moving half of soccer.
See, that's why I thought.
There have been fouls called, but the restarts quickly. There's been no injuries, no cautions of any kind, and even after the goal, the one goal that was scored, got the ball going back again very quickly. It might be a corner kick. I believe it is.
Yes, it is. So Harrison will get the corner. You see Marco Chung getting ready to set it up. Chung had a goal and an assist in the state semi against Milburn. And I don't even have to say which year, because he did it not only this year, but also last year. We're going to get a change. Marco is going to be substitute.
An interesting angle to see the restart.
Hurtado will do it. Headed, and Coons with the save.
Coons, as you saw from that angle there on the field, had to make that save. That ball was going in.
I believe it was Halpern who got a head on it.
Well, I was watching our monitor because it gave us such a great angle to watch that corner kick from. And Coons was just in the right place because that ball was headed perfectly. It was dead on, and Coons was right there to make the save. Best opportunity tonight for the Blue Tide.
This is Lyons. He has the only goal so far. He'll go to Humes. Rambo trying to work the give and go. Ball slides through to Joe Urich. Urich's pass knocked away by Roberto Chung.
But that series of passes showing that this Gator team can also move the ball nicely on the ground.
And that's the advantage of the turf. No little pothole that bounces the ball up. Nice smooth rolling ball. Many of these players on both sides play indoor soccer, winter soccer, which you would play, of course, indoors on a gym floor. And the ball played out of the box.
And again, this size for this Gateway Gator team coming into a great.
Here's a quick look at that Harrison corner.
You see as the corner is taken, and it's a great corner kick, a great header, and Kuhn's right there to make the save.
And that was Halpern, the sophomore midfielder who got ahead on it. So again, many of these players play indoor soccer on a similar surface, a fast-rolling surface.
Well,
we've got to restart. Bring the ball back, fellas.
They wanted the restart.
Time is stopped with 3:25 to go.
They wanted the restart maybe 20 yards up from where the foul actually took place. Interesting what's happening here.
I believe the foul was near midfield. And
yeah,
we're going to get a yellow card against Hurtado.
For delay of game, unsportsmanlike conduct. I believe that's what the call is going to be.
So junior Alfredo Hurtado called for the yellow card. Hurtado with 6 goals, 10 assists this year. He had 6 goals, 2 assists last season.
Tony Montevino, with that call, I believe because they took the ball 20 yards away, 30 yards away from where the foul actually took place, it does become a delay to bring that ball back up. It obviously wasn't close to where the foul had taken place, and technically you do have a delay of game, and therefore that's why the call made.
I thought they had started it, moved it down 15 yards, and then there was a subsequent foul called there. So obviously Tony is explaining right now to Joe Hennifer. And on the far side, Mike Luciano giving the explanation to Tom Carney. I'm sure Tom not thrilled with the explanation.
No, but Tom, as he usually does, very calm. Not too much gets Tom upset.
Tom, a great historian of Harrison soccer. Preparing for this game, he'll send you pages of information about Harrison's past. Good setup, high shot.
The very typical of how Harrison works the ball across the 18 and suddenly find the open player and blast that shot from 15, 20 yards.
You're watching the boys Group 2 State Championship being played this Thursday evening at Trenton State College between Gateway in the blue. They are the South Jersey champions, and Harrison in the white. They represent North Jersey Section 1. Jumping in foul called against the Blue Tide. Gateway's going to have to move that ball back a little bit. 2:35 left in the first half of play.
But you're right about the historian that Tom is and the information he knows about Harrison soccer.
And there's a lot to know. One of the great soccer traditions in New Jersey, Harrison High.
Outstanding programs. You know, it was a hard pill to swallow for some of the North Jersey schools when going back, let's say about 15, 16 years ago. A lot of the South Jersey teams started to get really powerful in soccer because people from North Jersey, and in particular the Harrison-Kearney area, which had been the hotbed of soccer, like, who are these Johnny-come-latelys? But they should also take pride that was pretty much a birthplace for soccer in this state, although some of the Trenton people might give us an argument on that.
Foul about 40 yards out. Quick restart. Chapoko with the left foot. 1:33 left in the half. I got it right that time. Long ball downfield. Humes is going to run onto it. Humes and Mello. Humes is going to run onto the ball and score.
There you see on that breakaway, Mello came out, thought he could get ball to the side, but he did not get it past Humes. It ricocheted off Humes. Humes escorted the ball downfield, and he scores an unassisted goal.
Here's a look at it. The foot race between Mello and Humes.
You'll see Humes come out of the left side of your screen, tries to kick the ball to the side, but gets right into Humes. Humes continues downfield. Looks like it's going to go in, but just to make sure, he gives it a tap and puts it in, and we are 2-0.
For Chris Humes, his 19th goal of the season, and the goal comes at 38-39.
And that 1-2 punch that the Gators you talked about, they have given a 1-2 punch to the Blue Tide tonight.
Mello actually won the foot race for the ball, but as you saw on the replay, his clearing kick hit right into Humes, and definitely would have gone into goal. probably would have beat the Harrison defender who was closing in on Humes, but Humes did the wise thing, followed the ball in, 1 yard away, just slapped it into the back of the net. It's 2-0 Gateway. So Lyons with his 24th goal, Humes with his 19th, and with 40 seconds to go, Gateway leads 2-0.
And one of the interesting things that over the years, Harrison has been so good with that offsides trap. It has really been totally ineffectual tonight because we've spent most of the game, believe it or not, in the Gator end of the field. When the ball comes back up, they are starting from their own half of the field. You can't be offsides in your own half of the field. Plus the fact I see Harrison kind of hanging back on defense a little bit that they haven't done all season long. As we see, only 10 seconds left in this first half.
Out of play, throw in for Gateway, but it will never happen. As we will head to the break with the score. The South Jersey champions Gateway 2. The North Jersey champions Harrison 0. We'll be right back with a look at the other games in the state tournament this week. And that's coming up in just a moment on TV3. 2-0 our score. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everyone, to Trenton State College. Gateway with the 2-0 halftime lead. And John Marcy, this is how goal number 1 came about. After the throw-in, Mike Kane will get it.
And Mike Kane takes it over, right over. You'll see it right there, kicked over. You're going to see Tom Lyons come down with a first time with his right foot right there. Ball comes in, just kicks it off the inside of the post. Mello never really had a chance on it. He was partially screened. And I think even if he did see the ball, that was placed so perfectly, I don't think he could have gotten to it at all.
There are, of course, other state championships being played at Trenton State College this week. On Tuesday, the parochial teams came down here. And in the parochial A state championship, Christian Brothers shut out Don Bosco 2-0. And in the parochial B championship, on the 65th goal of the season by Matt Miles, St. Augustine defeated Del Barton 2-1. The Group 1 final, which will take place immediately following this game, Haddonfield out of the Colonial Conference taking on Pompton Lakes. And, of course, the game you're watching right now between Gateway and Harrison. And then, of course, tomorrow evening, Friday night here at Trenton State, Wall will take on Scotch Plains for the Group 3 state championship, and Shawnee will meet Columbia for the Group 4 title. Those two games will be seen on TV3. Columbia, being played first, will be seen first on TV3. The Group 4 state championship, you'll be able to see that action right here on TV3. It is the Group 4 state championship, and you'll see it Saturday evening, November 21st at 3, Tuesday the 24th at 8, and Friday afternoon at 2:30. And then the Group 3 state championship game between Wall and Scotch Plains can be seen Sunday afternoon at 3, Tuesday the 24th at 10 p.m., and Friday early afternoon at 12:30. Everybody's home. That's going to be the day after Thanksgiving. And, John, just before we head to our halftime break, here's the second goal, the foot race.
Well, you'll see Humes coming down here on the lead pass. Mello comes out, tries to kick it wide. You saw he kicked it right into Humes. It looks like the ball's going to go in anyway, but Humes gives it a little extra tap just to make sure the defender doesn't get it. 2 shots on goal by the Gateway Gators. And we have a 2-0 ballgame.
And there is Humes in the middle of the huddle. He had the second goal. How big is it? We'll find out in the next 40 minutes. We'll take a short break with the score Gateway 2, Harrison 0. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everyone. Although we are watching soccer, we are also, of course, keeping an eye on football. The group semifinals come at you this week on TV3 in Section 2, Group 4, Elizabeth and Union. A rematch of a regular season game. Union, of course, the number 1 seed. You'll see this one Saturday evening at 8, Sunday morning at 9:30, and Monday afternoon at 2:30. And then in Section 2, Group 2, the semifinal between the number 3 ranked Jefferson and number 2 Summit. You'll be able to see this one on TV3 Saturday evening at 10:30, Sunday evening at 7:30, and Tuesday afternoon at 2:30. And as a loyal Summit alum, I know you're rooting for the Hilltoppers.
All the way. I'm going to watch that. In fact, I think I'm going to go and watch that Hilltopper game.
Should be a good one. For those who don't know, Summit runs the single wing, which hasn't been seen in many, many years in professional college or high school football.
Jim Benedict doing a fine job. It was great to see Howie Anderson on that last broadcast, too, against Governor Livingston.
That's right. A big win for the Hilltoppers. Howie doing much better.
And Howie, if you're watching, I'm glad to see you back and get better soon.
And John still has his soccer jersey. He's going to return it very soon, he promises. All right, here we go. Start of the second half. The Blue Tide down 2. Obviously not a very familiar situation to the team from Hudson County. They come into this game, as we mentioned, 20-3, and they rarely find themselves down. The 3 losses, as we mentioned, to teams of bigger groups. Scotch Plains from 3, Kearney and Columbia from 4. So a very rare instance indeed for them to be trailing a team of even enrollment. So Tom Kearney had about 10 minutes between halves to talk to his team, trying to set up some type of play which would get his club 2 goals.
It was interesting at halftime, Paul, talking to some of the press people on the other side of the press booth here, and they said, gee, it's really strange. The territorial advantage, which everybody, and I think we agree, went to Harrison. Not that they had any great opportunities except for that one gunshot on the restart. They said basically 2 shots on goal for the Gators, and they've got 2 goals. And that's been the story of this ball game.
The first half won by Harrison, but the scoring by Gateway. The great goal by Lyons off the restart, and then Humes with the good race forced Mello to play the ball, and here comes Humes again.
What a great lead pass.
He's in the box, but he's in deep.
He let the ball get too far in front of him, and it went over for the goal kick.
And he's upset about it.
He knew he had a great opportunity to...
Here's a look at it. The ball, I think, just picked up too much speed.
Well, that might be the turf. You'll see here, but you'll see what a great lead go. You'll see him look right there.
From Lyons.
I'm sorry, from Lyons to Humes. You'll see Humes right here. He gets the ball too far in front of him, and we ended up with the goal kick.
Before the game, I was speaking, as we said, with Joe Hennifer, the Gateway coach, and I was asking just if he could point out Lyons and Humes. I just wanted to take a look and see what kind of build they have, what sort of player they were. He said he's looking around for him. He says, just look near the goal. That's where they always are. Sure enough, that's where the 2 were warming up. Good lead pass to Mike Kane. Kane knocks it away. Marco Chung, wins the ball. And Kane clears the ball away, and we will get...
We're going to have a throw-in, but
I
thought that had gone over the line myself, but there was no call on it, and that's what Chung was looking for.
Chung crosses it. Not an easy save for Coons. He had to get up for that one. It was on net.
You know, I'm realizing, and when we were down at the field before the game, Coons is a lot bigger than he looks, and his arms get up there. He makes difficult saves look easy because he's very graceful, and he gets to the ball what appears slowly. It's just that he's got that large stride, and he gets there quickly with only 1 or 2 strides, and it appears that he's moving slowly, and he's not.
Good point. Joe Hennifer did point out, as we spoke on the phone in preparation for this game, he said Coons is a very big player, a physically well-built player, and they are certainly among his best assets. Interesting, John. I'll defer to your knowledge. I won't say age, but I'll say knowledge.
Thank you.
In the past, was the goalie generally the kid who couldn't run a lot and, hey, let's put him in goal? And certainly that has changed through the years. But we're talking many years ago. Was the goalie... Well, what was the goalie typically like physically?
Well, every keeper that I have played in front of over the years, I'd have to say was a real good athlete. I think, and if he's listening now, Wayne Howe, when I was in high school, Elliot Hillback, Sandy Hillback, and Bob Johnson, all these guys, they were real good athletes. And obviously good hands had a lot to do with it. I don't think they were as well coached as they are today. And
that's a very good point.
And a lot of it was self-taught, because I think coaches concentrated more on their field players and just hoped that we had a good basketball player type guy that had good hands.
That's the point I was trying to make. I wondered if in the past the keeper was a guy who wasn't that good with his feet and say, hey, you're a good baseball player, you're a good football receiver, let's put you in goal. But certainly you make a very good point. Much more specialized coaching for goalies these days. You hear about goalies going to goalie camp and doing this and so on and so forth. It is a very specialized position.
Oh, absolutely. And nowadays, maybe not at the high school level, but you'll see at the college level, at the Division I, and sometimes in high schools, you'll have a guy that specializes. If it wasn't a graduate of the high school who was a good goalkeeper, and I think of of Kearney with Tony Miola, who we see often on the sidelines assisting the goalkeepers for Kearney High School.
Perales plays the ball away. Harrison made a slight adjustment. We'll have to see if it continues in that Caesar and DeGoyan, who had been playing the right fullback, now on the left side, and he made a long run before. We'll have to see if he continues to do that or if that was just one opportunity that he saw.
Well, I'll tell you what I am impressed with this Gateway team. They're big, but they're quick. They're a lot quicker than I anticipated. And I think that's what Harrison's having a tough time dealing with. Not so much their size, but their quickness. Because they played many teams like Scotch Plains, Kearney, and some of the teams in their own conference. I think of Lyndhurst and a couple of others that may be physically bigger than them, but they so they're not intimidated by the size. But I think they're having a tough time dealing with that speed.
Almost, and I was going to say, we're close to a dangerous play, and yes, the dangerous was called against Tim Rambo. Interesting in that Harrison, because of the smaller size of their conference, gets to play a number of out-of-conference games. In DeGoyan, crosses, headed away by Rambo.
Handball call. He controlled that ball with both his hands and with his...
Now, on the other hand, the Colonial Conference that Gateway plays in, you're going to look at the standings right here. This is a 10-team conference, so you are locked into an 18-game schedule. As you can see, Haddonfield, who'll be playing for the Group 1 crown, has won the conference. Sterling will finish second by virtue of less losses, and Gateway, with one game to play, is going to finish third in the Colonial Conference. But that's one thing that Joe Hennifer was saying. We're locked into 18 games just in our conference. And, it's tough to get a little bit of out-of-conference experience. Well, good cross, left-footed shot, and Coons comes up with a save.
Coons was able to make that save. It was dead on. You saw it just over his head. It might even have hit the crossbar, but nevertheless, you'll see the cross here. It comes straight through. Again, it's a first-time shot. It's high. No, that would have gone in. Coons able to make the save. If that had been left to right, that would have definitely been in.
Hurtado tries to settle it. Hurtado's shot knocked away. It hit off of Kenyon.
Harrison putting on some pressure that they haven't put on early on. They're getting the shots on the inside. What they're doing different, I'm not sure.
Play on for Rambo. And now he's taken down by Indigoyan.
He's taken down Indigoyan. I don't know. You say I always agree with the referee. I don't know if I agree on that one. I thought that was a pretty good...
but they were part of professional ball.
Mike Luciano, I thought, with a very good call on the first non-call to let Rambo,
that was good,
who kept his footing.
That was absolute. But I thought the contact came afterwards, not on a trip. But
Mello, trouble in the box, and then it's just sent high by Humes.
Mello definitely called that ball because you saw the defenders look to him and go away. Then he had trouble handling the ball and it went right to one of the Gators, but he put it high.
It took a short hop on Pedro Mello. He had trouble handling it.
So end-to-end action here in the early going of this second half.
There is Chris Humes, the junior, scored his 19th goal this evening, scored his 18th in a game played 2 days ago on Tuesday against Woodbury.
And again, you can see the Gators, they're getting the advantage on the high ball. Right there, again, Harrison having to take the foul to stop the play.
Humes is also one of the top 20 scorers in South Jersey with his now 19 goals. All right, the restart, Lions will take it.
Keeps it low.
Rambo returns, shot just high. Tim Rambo had a good opportunity.
Great action going both ways now.
Here's the nice setup pass. It goes to Humes.
It was a back pass right here. You'll see the back pass. And Rambo comes up and takes the shot, and he's got to be 25, 30 yards out when he takes that shot. And you see Milo came in, and he still had a tough time making it.
Just a correction, that was Ledridge who got the initial pass from Lyons, and that set up Tim Rambo for the high shot. The Gators of Gateway, maybe they hurt us. They seem to have now are winning the territorial battle. They've had the better of play in the early stages of half number 2. We are almost 10 minutes in. Coons with the scoop. I've been reminded by one of our Chatham alums in the truck that I should point out that Gateway plays in the Colonial Conference, which is a conference of small schools in South Jersey near Camden.
Not the Colonial Hills Conference.
Which is a conference of, again, generally small schools from mostly Morris and Essex County.
You saw right there, Lyons trying to control the ball, has got up off his foot with his hand, and Mike Luciano right there making the call.
And, of course, one of the great teams from that conference, Chatham, generally a contender in Group 2.
Always a strong club. Since you were alluding to Summit earlier, some of our toughest games in the old Suburban Conference were against the old Chatham Borough, now combined Chatham Borough, Chatham Township into one school, but still, nevertheless, very good soccer.
Throw in by Rambo. Header by Humes, looking for Lyons.
And both times, the high ball controlled by the Gators.
Foul against Gateway. Restart for the Blue Tide. 29 minutes left in this game. Gateway 2, Harrison nothing. You're watching this action on Suburban Cablevision, TV3. Harrison currently our number 3 team in our top 10 poll. You saw the top 5 teams graphically a little earlier. The top 3 teams in our poll are playing for state championships. Before the shot, a whistle, and the foul against Harrison.
Gateway now with a 2-goal lead. Anytime they get a restart, they're not going to be too anxious unless they're right down there with a goal-scoring opportunity. Right now, every restart they're going to take is going to take a few extra seconds because the clock running in their favor now.
The Colonial Conference tonight will try to become the first South Jersey Conference to produce 2 boys soccer state champions in the same year, since Bordentown and Delran did it for the Burlington County Scholastic League Freedom Division in 1986. If Haddonfield and Gateway can win, they will accomplish that doubleheader in tonight's doubleheader. Gateway is, of course, a good way there with the 2-0 lead. Haddonfield will play Pompton Lakes. Pompton Lakes knocked out another TV3 area team, New Providence, in Monday's semifinals.
And of course, we saw New Providence take a kind of an exciting game from the Brearley Bears.
So we're going to get a restart just outside of the box for Gateway. Looks like they're going to play it right back to the keeper.
And this is where Harrison, let the other team have the restarts. Don't sit there and get...
Right.
You need the clock running in your favor now. You don't need to be marked off that 10 yards. Get away right away.
And DeBarros shows that he quickly gets the ball back in play on the throw-in. Foul against Gateway.
Very strong defensive team, this Gateway team.
Roberto Chung. Good drop pass for Indigoyan, and that is certainly a change. Indigoyan playing way up now. This is Chapoko. Tightly marked by Rambo. Chapoko tries to take it deep into the corner.
And he forces the corner kick. But again, Joe Hennifer said before the game, I ask him 3 questions. Team strong point, team weak point, and if you had a Christmas wish list, what would you do? And team strong point, he said defense. Team weak points, he said, I don't know. And he said Christmas wish list, he said 2 wins against Haddonfield.
We're going to get a stop in play.
And the clock is stopped. I think so we get reset here.
Obviously, there was something going on in the nets.
Yeah, I think you had a little jockeying for position, shall we say.
Marco Chung and Mike Kane were moving it around a little bit, and there you see those 3 along with Steve Coons.
It's all part of the game. And in this case, the official came over. In this case, it was Tony Molavino, and he's sitting there verbally reprimanding them.
Both these officials are from the Central Jersey chapter.
As is often the case in state play, you'll get referees, and it's not always the case, but who have not seen either of the teams at all during the season. So usually referees from a different portion of the state.
Corner kick far side. Marco Chung will go to take it.
You can't continue to give a team like Harrison corner kicks, especially a team like Harrison that's smart and they get a lot of good restarts. you continue to do that, and they're going to put one in on you.
The Barros hits it high off the football upright. That is, of course, out of play.
And it'll be restarted with a goal kick as it was last played by Harrison.
With 25 minutes and change left in the game.
Bate, who has been strong on defense with that goal kick, not looking just to clear it. He looked like he was trying to pass it, even though it was a good long restart.
Crossing ball knocked away by the defense.
Oh, that's not Harrison's style of play, and I don't even have to hear. I know what Tom Carney's yelling across the field at his player right now. No, not yelling at all, but boy, did he give him a look.
Trying to set up his defense now. A young Harrison team playing for the state championship. Again, some of the records aren't complete by a quick count. As best as I could figure, 16 state championships for Harrison High.
That's all?
Of which they shared 6. And again, we're talking just about state championships, not North Jersey or sectional titles, but 16 state championships. And that is an impressive number.
Here again, that long lead and that great speed coming from that, almost with the same result. Hume's not getting there quite as quick this time, and Melo is able to beat him to the goal, to the ball. But you saw the defender kind of taking his time coming down on that ball, and all of a sudden looks over his shoulder, and there's Humes running at him. Look, Humes now getting his breath back after that 50-yard run. But he's got, at this point, what we'd call the icing on the cake goal, with Lions getting the potential winning goal.
Among the notes that Tom Carney gave me before the game, we're talking this year in New Jersey high school football about something that hasn't happened for some 40 or 50 years. Immaculata High of Somerville is currently 8-0, undefeated, untied, and unscored upon. Do you know that in 1946, the Group 1 soccer state champions from Harrison were also undefeated, untied, and unscored upon?
You're kidding.
In soccer?
That in soccer, I find that even more incredible, because you're playing so many more games, and just the nature of the game makes it very difficult.
Again, they only played 12 back then, but still, that's a good amount.
Oh, God. The undefeated.
Hey, if you can get 12 shutouts in a 25-game season, that's impressive.
You got that right.
So Rambo will get it started for the Gators. Low crossing. O'Connor is there, and I think we had a push on O'Connor.
What happened is O'Connor came in, and he kind of gave a straight arm to the Harrison player, trying to get to the ball in his overzealousness.
And we're going to get a foul this time against Harrison. Far side of the pitch, 2-0. Gateway with the lead. First half goals by Lions and Humes, and if you're a Gateway fan, that comes as no surprise, because Lions and Humes have been doing the bulk of the scoring this year.
And again, you can see, taking our time on the restarts, we're going to waste another 25, 30 seconds. You get 6 or 7 of those, and you could have wasted 4 or 5 minutes. And that's 4 or 5 minutes pressure you're taking off your goalkeeper.
Foul Harrison. Called against Marco Chung.
That's kind of a 50-50 call, depending on your point of view from it. It could have gone either way. If you're North Jersey, you thought it was against Harrison. If you're from South Jersey, you thought it was for Harrison. So you have a Central Jersey referee, so you have to say he was impartial.
It has been 364 days since Harrison was down on the pitch. The championship last year took place on November 21st. There you see Harrison's first state championship. We talked about that team in 46, 12-0, unscored upon. Most recent title last year, the co-championship. Last outright title that they didn't have to share was back in 1975. Of their 16 titles that I could find in the sheets, 6 of them have been shared championships.
Thank Tom Corney for all that information.
It's unbelievable. He even gave me a team-by-team breakdown. Team-by-team, year-by-year. So we know how they did against, let's say, Irvington Tech in 1956. It's unbelievable. And we love coaches who keep that much accuracy. In front, ball play just wide. Rambo plays it away, and it will be a throw-in for the Blue Tide. Coons with a nice stop, and then some help from his D.
Yeah, that's the first time all game long that I have seen him make what I felt was an error, because he came out on a ball which I think he took away from a defender. But nevertheless, it's no goal, so I guess it wasn't a mistake after all.
Indigoyen tees it up, a shot knocked away by Mike Kane. And rolls out of play. It will be a throw-in for the Blue Tide. They quickly get a start. Indigoyen traps, tries to cross the field. We are high atop Lion Field here at Trenton State College, and we are situated in the athletic director's booth.
Well, I'll tell you, they do all right.
20 minutes. We are now halfway through the second half. 20 minutes left on the clock.
This facility, one of the finest we've had the opportunity to be in over the years.
No doubt about that. Gateway 2, Harrison nothing for the Group 2 state championship.
Harrison trying to keep that ball in, knowing that it's going to be a Gateway throw-in, and Harrison going out of the way, helping to get that ball back now, because now time becomes a factor. We're just past the halfway point of the second half with about great play right here from Harrison. You'll see Kunz come out on this play. The defender was going to, well, I guess the defender was over his head, and Kunz was not mistaken, so my apologies to Kunz on that one. And you'll see that the ball was taken across. They never did get it back into the net again, and it was finally cleared out.
Now Roberto Chung tried a difficult shot. He tried to direct it with his right foot off the outside part of his foot into the goal.
Very difficult to do.
Difficult to do if you're standing still, and of course he was on the move with a ball that was bouncing waist high.
Back to live action. We have midfield action here. Oh, nice turnaround and a push. You saw that one. Quick restart by the Blue Tide.
Well, they know the pressure is on with less than 20 minutes.
There's a gap right there.
Left-footed shot knocked away. It is called off Harrison, so it will be a goal kick. Marco Chung with the shot. Gateway 2, Harrison nothing.
Chung sitting right there outside the 18, hoping for a missed kick and a quick opportunity, but he would still have Kunz to go through, and he has been formidable tonight.
This is the first of 4 public state championships at Trenton State on this evening and then tomorrow evening.
And of course, later on in the week, we will have the girls' public school championships also.
To be played here at Trenton State on Saturday. Matter of fact, they're going to go 4 in a row. 10, 12, 2, and 4.
And again, because of the AstroTurf, there will be no harm done to the field playing back-to-back-to-back games. Harrison again controlling the ball. They've been successful all game long, bringing the ball up on the outside, but bringing it to the middle has been very tough. Real strong Gateway defense.
The Westfield girls will be the lone TV3 representative in the girls' soccer championships, played in the corner. Back heel, no one there. Very quickly, Group 1 at 10 o'clock is Morris Catholic and Pingree, followed by Group 2, Mendham and Cinnamonson. Group 3, Northern Highlands, Hillsborough, and then Group 4, East Brunswick, Westfield.
Humes and Lions, the total offense on this, you see Humes. Oh, I thought Humes with the push on that, but no, it's called against Harrison. We're going to have a restart, a direct kick for the Gators.
O'Connor will go to take the restart. He's about 24 yards out, but well to the left of the goal from our view. 16:30 left in the game.
Chung exasperated because not only did they not get the call, even though no goal resulted from it, then the restart came about 15 yards upfield from where the foul took place. So he was kind of exasperated, and I saw on the side Tom Carney and the assistant trying to calm down. It's happened. There's nothing you can do about it.
Substitution for Gateway, Mike Ledrich, a senior, back in the game. Gateway in the midst of a 12-game winning streak.
Of course, he replaces Joey Eriks, who is coming out. He's played a good game in the middle of the field.
And again, a reminder, they have another game tomorrow. That's going to be an interesting situation. If they hold on to this 2-0 lead, they cannot win the conference. Matter of fact, they wouldn't even finish second in the conference, but yet they have one more game to go. Out of play, white ball, which is Harrison. Chapoko, his pass knocked away by Kenyon. And now the call against Harrison. So Kenyon will restart it.
Okay, I thought he was calling it on the ball being out of touch. I see what he's calling is a little bit of a push. Okay, I thought he was calling it because of the throw-in. I have no problems with that one at all.
15 minutes left. O'Connor.
We were talking to Joe Hennifer before the game. That's what I said, were you going to stick around and kind of root for your, even though your arch rival, because they are in your same conference? He said, yeah, we might stay here for a few minutes, win or lose. He says, but we've got a game tomorrow. He says, besides, he says, they've got a reception plan for us back at school. And of course, they've got about an hour and a half ride. So, you know, this game gets over after all the celebrating here, interviews, etc. It'll be at least past 8 o'clock.
Long ball played towards the box. Mello comes away with it. But Joe also mentioned he would like to come back tomorrow to see Shawnee, another South Jersey representative in the big game against Columbia. But again, as you said, he's got a game tomorrow, even if they get that started at 3 o'clock. Kids get out of school early, 2-hour game, and then an hour and a half drive here.
Plus the fact Shawnee and Columbia are the first of the 2 games that are played tomorrow night, so their game goes at 6 o'clock, and there's just no way he's going to make it.
He can watch it on TV3.
There's going to be a trip call right there.
Trip against Ledrich. Of course, TV3 does not get into Gloucester County, but
they were quick with the tapes.
He can make the trip up and watch us somewhere in the TV3 area. 42 towns to choose from. Ball down in the left corner. Marco Chung takes it in deep, played out by Mike Kane, so it will be a corner kick for the Blue Tide with 13:33 left in the game.
And we hope our 42 towns have enjoyed soccer this year, because we're coming to the tail end with 2 games tomorrow of what's been probably one of our better soccer seasons, with some really great games this year.
And a very good opportunity for 2 state champions, Scotch Plains and Columbia. Again, we don't get to see the South Jersey schools, but we would have to think they are among the favorites. 2 very strong teams. Of course, Shawnee and Wall, good teams in their own right. Harrison apparently, unless a big comeback in the next 13 minutes, will go home as the second best team in Group 2 and the North Jersey state champions. Gateway will go home with the hardware as the Group 2 state champions.
And I would expect, with having only been in 3 state finals in all the years in all sports combined for boys, if they win this game, it's going to be interesting. And another great opportunity, and just wide by Lions. Again, on another breakaway type situation, Lions just wide with the shot.
Take a look at it on the replay, and it's from Humes.
And it's Humes. There was a handball there, but the handball wasn't called, which was a good no call. Lions beats the defender, goes with the outside of his right foot, but Melo coming out that time had cut the angle down, and he had no angle other than to take that ball with the outside of his foot, and he went wide.
And you're right again, a good no call, good call by Mike Luciano and Tony Montervino, our 2 officials for today's game.
One of the few head balls I've seen all night long that Harrison got, but that's because it went uncontested. And if I had to pick any one thing that has been the quality that has given Gateway that lead, it would have to be that they have beat them in the air all night long. I mean, it's glaring how they have beat them on the high ball today. Joe Hennifer said they were going to do the long pass. They were a bigger team. They felt that they could beat most anybody up in there, and their strong defense. All 3 of those things they've done, and they have the 2-0 lead.
First goal by Lions at 24-36, and then Humes scoring at 38-39. Ball too far. Harrison still controls it. Chipoko, tightly marked as he has been all night by Justin Kenyon. Took it in deep. We'll get a goal kick for Gateway. Tom Carney sitting on the bench with just 10:50 left in the game.
Tom's just thinking there. He's got, less than 11 minutes to go. I don't even think you're going to see him pull the keeper. He might bring one more defender up because this has been such a strong defense. Tom, an intelligent soccer man, knows that by altering what his team does, it's going to create problems more than solve problems at this point because the defense is so strong. I don't think there's much that he's going to change. He's just going to continue to do whatever's gotten there most of the season. Unless they bang one in real quick, then he might pull all the stops. But right now you don't do anything different. And here's that lead, and here they go, beating them every time. Lots of speed. Humes again. Chris Humes has a world of speed, and consistently all night he is on those fast breaks beat the defenders.
Tom was the SCOA Coach of the Year in 1985, and 4 times since he has been BCSL Coach of the Year, including 1992. Chipoko, guarded by Kenyon. Chipoko gets it ahead, knocked away by Kenyon. Throw in, Blue Tide.
Chipoko, I think, was looking for a foul because it looked apparently that he'd been pushed from behind, but they've got the throw in, so it really doesn't make much difference at this point.
Chipoko with the cross, and Coons is there, takes a little hit in front, but holds on to the ball.
And it's better that's no call made for Harrison at this point because the ball, you'll see right here, cross comes across. You'll see one of the Harrison players go into Coons right there. No call made. Coons is big. I mean, he practically didn't even look like he was brushing away a fly. Big, strong kid, as you said, very athletically built, and he showed it on that play.
Henry Perales plays the ball up ahead for the Blue Tide. They're trying to get the ball up quickly.
We only have 8.5 minutes left.
Chipoko with Villa on his left.
Go, Victor! Mike, go, man! What the hell is wrong with you? All the way down, low!
And you'll see at this point, coming up on the 8-minute mark, the Gators just taking their time. They're not going to get the ball in very quick.
Harrison will closely guard this inbounds throw. Dangerous play called against Victor Villa.
You can hear right there, Joe Hennifer to take your time, ask for the 10. All this part of the game, we've talked about it many times about in soccer where the clock constantly runs. So you have a playing time of 80 minutes. That's regardless of the ball in or out of touch, regardless of a foul call. It only stops for injuries, goals, cautions, a couple of other situations. And Joe Hennifer looking just about the way he did at the beginning of the game. Very relaxed. He's having a good time tonight.
And even more so in that his team has the 2-0 lead with 7:17 left in the game.
Oh, great move. But I am impressed with this Gateway defense. They've marked closely and tightly all night long. With very few exceptions, they haven't allowed Harrison many breaks.
Marco Chung, closely guarded by Mike Kane. In deep, and goal kick.
And again, other than the opening minutes of this second half, the territorial advantage for the whole game is way in favor of the Blue Tide. But the Blue Tide have not been able to rattle the nets at all, and that's the whole story. But with a young club like this, I will not be a bit surprised to see them back here again next year.
They have played together 2 years, Tom Lyons and Chris Humes, and the scary thing is just how well they work together. I mean, almost every time when Humes got off a good shot on our replay, you saw that it was Lyons that set it up, and vice versa.
And it's been that way. They've been the story all game long. They've been the story up front, but I'll tell you what impresses me most with this team is the defense, and they've had a real good defense tonight.
6:05 left. I believe, yes, we did get a card against Indigoyen. He leaves from the far side of the field. So a card against Harrison.
I did not see what it was called for, but the replacement coming on the field, Indigoyen now going around the field. Restart will be a direct kick, I believe.
O'Connor will take it. And yes, it is. You can even see the Gateway players are starting to sense the victory.
Well, you saw on that restart, nobody really challenged. Gateway now has 2, 4, 6, 7 field players on defense. That's why there was nobody challenged. They have the 2-goal lead. Right now, there's nothing Harrison can do but come upfield and hope for a couple of quick breaks.
Cross in the box, headed, and Coons with the stop right in front of Marco Chung.
They've come close all night long. Coons has been real tough in the nets.
Here's a look at it on the replay. Marco Chung was just waiting for any kind of dropped ball or any opportunity here.
There it was, right there. And he beat both defenders, but Coons comes out, he makes the save real quick.
5:15 left in the game. They'll be celebrating in Gloucester County tonight if the Gators can hold on for the final 5 minutes. Joe Hennifer, in his 8th year as head coach, picked up his 100th career win against Collingswood. Now has 110, and this would be number 111.
What an 8th year this is. He will never forget this one. Offsides called.
4:36 left in the game.
That offsides on Lyons. Lyons, I think, who has been all over the field tonight, we've commented on, I think starting to get a little bit tired because he's coming back upfield a little bit slower. He's given his heart here for 75 plus minutes without any substitution. He's banged in 1 goal. He's been key, instrumental in all kinds of play all game long.
This play near the box. Left-footed shot kept alive.
And a corner
we're going to
kick.
get a corner.
Very quickly now. They can't wait. They take it a real quick short corner. They cross it back to the middle.
Headed towards goal wide, and Coons will let it roll through. Under 4 minutes. I'm Paul Spychala, with me John Marcy. You've been watching the Boys Group 2 State Championship here on TV3. .322 left. After the game, of course, we'll be wrapping it up from down on the field with our post-game show. Chapoko knocked away by Kenyon.
I want to see you hit him in the arm again.
Trip call made right there.
And an injured Harrison player. We did get a stop in the clock.
Get the stoppage in the clock. And we have just under 3 minutes to go, 2 minutes 56. Restart for the Blue Tide. Let's see what they can do here. Short restart. But again, the defense coming up so strong for this Gateway team.
Chapoko near the right corner. Ball cleared away by Lyons. 2:30 left in the game.
150 ticks of the clock to their first state championship in Group 2.
The Gateway fans moving down the stands, getting closer and closer to the bench.
Think they're happy?
They look to celebrate their first ever soccer state championship.
Happy, happy fans here. The announcement made that they really don't want people on the field, but you know something? I think we're going to see people on the field. Who knows?
No, I don't think so. Here at Trenton, they keep things under control.
Okay.
One of the better college football teams in New Jersey, and many of those players are down on the field right now. I don't think they're going to get through.
Okay, I don't argue.
Try.
I don't argue.
1:45 to go. The Gateway Gators have captured the Group 2 Soccer State Championship.
Our hats off to Joe Hennifer and the rest of the Gators and his staff. Our hats off to Jack Rogers, AD at Harrison High School, Tom Carney, and the rest of the Blue Tide. A great team, a great program, a great history. Maybe not this year, but knowing Harrison, they will be back.
State champions last year, state finalists this year.
.109 left, and I believe they're going to get the restart. It was taken from the wrong position. And it's going to be an indirect kick. You see the referee's hand raised over his head. The restart is cleared out to about the 20. Harrison again looking, but again cleared under 1 minute. Oh, so close, but oh, so far.
For Gateway, the culmination of a great season. It will be their 20th victory. They will not win their conference, but they will be the state champions, as might be Haddonfield.
No call on what appeared to be a handball.
And what a great accomplishment that would be for the Colonial Conference. Mello way out of the nets with 18 seconds to go. It's just a matter of counting down the time right now to Gateway's state championship.
But
10 seconds and counting.
Harrison not giving up. They find an open man. But again, that defense so strong all game long.
And the team in blue from Gloucester County and their coach, Joe Hennifer. Joe looks like the coach who doesn't know who he wants to hug first. And eventually he'll hug them all. Tom Carney, disappointed in the trip. Last year he shared the crown. This year they'll go home without the trophy. It is the Gators of Gateway Regional who have won the Group 2 state championship on goals by Lyons and Humes in the first half, and outstanding goalkeeping by Steve Coons. We hope to have those three players and Joe Hennifer join us for our post-game show. Again, the final of the Group 2 state championship. Gateway 2, Harrison nothing. We'll be right back. And again, the final score of the Group 2 state championship, Gateway 2, Harrison nothing. And we have with us a couple of players who contributed to this great team victory for Gateway today. Chris Humes. Chris, first of all, congratulations on your goal. It was a foot race between you and their keeper, and then he bounced it off of you. If you could a little bit describe what happened on the play.
All right, well, my teammate Tommy Lyons gave me a great through ball. Luckily, I just got there before the keeper. I got a piece of the ball, it went by, and things went our way, and it trickled in.
Ball bounced off of you, rode towards the goal. It was certain it was going in, but it looks like you just wanted to make sure in that last yard.
Sure, yeah.
This is a great team that, although scoring has certainly been a big part of this one, defense, I think, is really what got you the championship trophy today.
Definitely. Defense, the Tsunami, Dave Kane, DJ Bate, Justin Kenyon, and Mike Kane played a phenomenal game. We couldn't have done it without them.
All right, Chris, thanks very much. Congratulations on a goal today. Steve, step on in here. Steve Coons. Steve, you had a number of great saves in the ball game, particularly one at this end on a header and one at the other end of the ball that you deflected over the post. They were putting some pressure on you.
Yes, they were. It was very difficult, but our defense played as well as any defense can. If without them, we would not be in the position we are right now.
For the most part, especially in the first half, territorially, they might have won the game. They kept the ball in your end a lot. Does that put a lot of pressure on you, especially in the first half, and that you're constantly on the ready?
Yes, a little bit, especially in the beginning because you're nervous, especially in a state game. In the second half, things, it got better. I know they're good, so I have very great confidence in them.
The final thing, did you find any adjustment for yourself with the turf? Did you have to watch out for the bounces? Anything you might have learned in the quick practice?
Just it was hard to dive on. That was very hard to dive on. Otherwise, no, it wasn't really hard to adjust.
All right, trophy's in the best hands because, Steve, nothing got out of those hands tonight. Congratulations. Tom, step on in here. Tom, congratulations on a great performance for you tonight. Let's talk a little bit about your first goal. Kane sends the ball through, and you had to make the quick decision to one-time it. What were your thoughts as the ball was coming down?
I thought Chris Humes was going to head the ball, and I was calling for a flick, but he didn't. So I luckily got a foot on it and put it in the bottom right corner.
As the coach told us before the game, he said no matter where Tom is, Chris is there, and vice versa. Do you two work on working together, or is it just something that somewhat comes naturally?
It's just like chemistry, I think. Since the beginning of the season, we've been working together great. It's just it's like a little family we got.
Tell me a little bit about the senior class on this team.
Senior class has all the heart it could ever have. Because last year we went into the tournament with big heads, sizing up for jackets, and this year we just went game by game. It's the best.
All right, Tom, thanks very much for coming by. Congratulations on the goal. And Joe, what a great performance by your club today. As we said, certainly Lions and Humes are great scorers, but I think defense is the thing that makes you take home the hardware tonight. The team just marked outstandingly.
Yeah, they did. They did a great job. I mean, we've preached to them for 8 years that offense wins games, but defense wins championships, and tonight they proved that.
In the early going, I know it's tough when you haven't seen a team all year. Did Harrison do anything that you had to quickly adjust to? What were the early moments of the game like, and what did you have to make any changes, if any?
Well, I think the biggest thing was getting used to playing on the turf and getting used to their speed. They move the ball well, and they're very quick, and we're not the quickest of teams. We just marked up solidly and kept them in front and contained them.
We thought in the first half they had the ball in their end, in their offensive end, more times, but it was Gateway that came away with the 2 goals. Your thoughts on the first half in particular?
It's been like that the whole tournament. We seem to lose the territorial edge, but we stick the goal when we get a chance, and we keep it out of our net.
A great performance for not only the boys soccer team, but all of Gateway High. Looks like most of the student body was here tonight. A great accomplishment, and of course you're going to have a nice party tonight, and then you got to go do it again tomorrow.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. It's been great. Super year.
All right, Joe, thanks very much for coming by. Congratulations on the victory of the Group 2 state championship for the Gators of Gateway, 2-0 the final. And yes, we saw some outstanding offensive play, particularly from Humes and Lions, but what a great defense. Marked Harrison almost out of the ball game, took away some good scoring opportunities, and Coons took care of the rest.
Well, we talked about Coons, we talked about Lions, we talked about Humes. I have to take my hat off for the first time all year long. I saw what I thought was one of the best coaching jobs I've ever seen. Coach told me exactly before the game what they had to do. They went out, they did it. It seems that everything he wanted them to do, they did. He said, if we do that, we're going to win the game. It was a 2-0 club. I take my hats off to Harrison. I know what kind of a game, but Gateway, it's your night. You celebrate. You had a great one.
The Group 2 state champions from Gateway Regional High School. And again, our congratulations to Harrison for a fine year. Tomorrow night from the TV3 area, Scotch Plains will try for the Group 3 title and Columbia for the Group 4 crown. For John Marcy, I'm Paul Spychala. We thank you all for being with us. And again, the final score of the Group 2 state championship, Gateway 2, Harrison 0.